Tracy, I want to just go back to this thing about, is the market slowing? Because, like I said, there has been some news stories out there implying that maybe the real estate market's slowing down, and it really isn't, even nationally, even in some of these other markets. Because the story that's actually out there is that inventory is starting to grow a little bit in some parts of the country. It's not that the real estate market's slowing down.
Well, and I bet you have stats to prove what you're about to say.
Well, what I just, it's that time of the month where it's mid-month. I wanted to see where we were for July this year versus, in particular, July last year, because July 2020 is when the real estate market just went nutty.
This was right after COVID, right? So
right.
March, April, May, June, July, all those people
June is when all of a sudden everybody decided it was time to buy a house, and we hadn't had any listings in April, May of last year.
Right. Things pretty much shut down. So
I didn't say any. It was half the number of new listings. Yes.
My point is, July last year, despite COVID, was a record month.
It was the busiest closing month on record for the Albuquerque area, July of 2020.
Right.
Right now, July of 2021, pendings are up 15% over last year just in the first 15 days. And the number of closings is about equal with last year right now. The number of homes on the market, it's down 23% just versus last year. So, yeah, we're
one quarter less houses on the market.
It's not slowing down.
Definitely not in our market.
No.
So.
And there was I don't know, I know you saw it, Tracy, but y'all might have caught it, that there was a story in the Journal this week where Stephen Hamway does the real estate beat, I guess, if you would say, and he called me and got a couple, just, put a few quotes on there. One of them was, there's, like I said, the story that there's more homes and the inventory starting to come in and there's more homes on the market. And I cautioned him, and I'm glad he printed it, that it's maybe just seasonal, cyclical, that we're going to have a little bit of build this time of year, and I think it's going to, just kind of stay flat and probably decline throughout the year. So if you're out there thinking of buying, if you're thinking that you're going to wait until more homes come on the market later this year, probably not going to happen is my call on that. So I'll just say that. Yeah.
Clarity, because that wasn't as clear as that I would like for it to be.
Okay.
In hearing you. So what you're saying is, cyclically, every year about this time, more homes are basically delivered. They hit the market.
Yep.
But even though those homes are coming onto the market, it doesn't mean that there's going to be more opportunity, more houses, more inventory necessarily, that it's going to get absorbed right away.
It is. And I don't see, generally what happens, inventory builds up until July, August, if you want to say that, right? So the number of homes available. And then come July, August, it starts to drop off all the way through till February.
August, September.
And that's just the normal seasonal pattern for our market.
So those are I imagine those are kind of pre-sale, are they not? Because of new construction. Tracy, you brought on new construction people on board several times. You've had several home builders who have come on.
Yeah.
And I imagine there's like people beating down their door or something like that. I mean, this is something that you guys work on. You can take people to places where that inventory is going to be rolling out, and I gotta say that's worth what do they say? A bird in the hand.
Yeah.
That really is a good opportunity there to jump in, and another reason to pick up the phone and call Tego and Tracy Venturi, 448-8888. That's 448-8888, and we are live this morning. So if you want to know and get a heads up on where that might potentially could be and delivered. Well, it depends upon the city of Albuquerque City or Rio Rancho. Just go ahead and give them a call. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, no, thanks, Eddie. And I want to just bring in one other stat. I don't want to confuse people, but again, this whole story of home prices are going up way too fast, which I would tend to agree with, and we're going to have a bubble, and prices are going to explode and go down, and one of the things we have to look at always is supply versus demand, right? That drives everything in pricing on any product, in homes in particular. And what I found is right now we have about 1,100 homes on the market. In July of 2007, that's when, let's say, the bubble burst back in the day, when home prices started to decline in 2007. At that time, we didn't. I'm trying to say this so it's more succinct and not complicated. We had over 7,000 homes on the market in the greater Albuquerque area in July of 2007 when prices started to go down.
So prices didn't start to shift until we had over 7,000 houses on the market.
That's a great way to put it. So if you were to just go with that one metric, and I know that's just one thing, we would need 6 times more inventory, as we say, homes available on the market than we currently have before we start to see a shift in pricing.
And we could see a shift in pricing well before that, of course, but that's what the history was. We were over 7,000 houses on the market before we started seeing prices come down.
Yep.
Back in 2007.
And I've been saying this now for months and months. I keep saying we could have 4,000 or 5,000 homes, 6,000 homes on the market tomorrow and still not be in a buyer's market.
And, it could shift. Let's say we have 4,000 on the market, but interest rates change drastically. We could see price changes. We just know from what we hear politically through the economy that they're not planning to do major changes in the interest rate, right? So that's part of where we were going. We're going to talk a little bit about the second half of this year since we're into it now, right?
Yeah, and oh my gosh, how do we do this? We go so fast. We've just got so much to cover. So Tracy, let's just talk about a few predictions from the experts. I'm going to say that the air quote experts. Yes. I think 2020, never mind. I'm not going to go there. I was going to talk about experts in the year 2020. So what are the real estate, prediction makers, what are they saying about the market, Tracy? And what are they saying about mortgage rates, let's say?
I know they say mortgage rates will likely increase a little bit by the end of the year, but a little bit. We're not talking anything major, right?
And based on the announcement this week, it doesn't look like
from Jerome Powell.
Yeah, there's going to be much. I mean, I know that the Fed rate is not necessarily tied to mortgage rates. It's more about the 10-year bond yield that ties to mortgage rates. But, as long as the 10-year is under 2%, we're still going to see really low mortgage rates.
Right. Another end of year.
Mm-hmm.
Home price appreciation, Tego?
Yeah, home price appreciation from a lot of the different groups out there. So Zelman and Associates, which is one of the big consulting firms in the real estate space, they're seeing 10% year over year for 2021. Nationally, 10.6%. Mortgage Bankers Association saying over 10%. National Association of Realtors, our association, is saying 9%. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, Fannie's got it at 8%, Freddie Mac's got it at 6.6%. So, everybody is predicting an increase. I saw some numbers from another consulting firm just this week, and they're seeing 20% year-over-year increase in median price, which is a little bit different than total price appreciation. But, home prices are going up, and back to that whole thing about the market and the market slowing. I think the one thing that will slow this market down is we just get way too far ahead of ourselves on home prices where people can't, they just can't make it work. But, and then you got this whole thing, Tracy. It's like, well, everybody's got to live somewhere. You either got to rent or you got to buy or you got to live with family or whatever, right? Back to the whole conversation about, multi-generational housing.
Right. And what we know is rent rates have gone up significantly too. So even though the home prices have gone up, it's still mostly cheaper to buy than to rent for the same type of house.
There is so much research and there's so many good studies that talk about how, home ownership, let me put it this way. Home ownership, owning a home, is affordable housing compared to renting.
Right.
Right. Plus building a nest egg. And
so what about inventory for the rest of the year?
I think
What are
nationally,
the experts predicting?
Yeah, what the
nationally?
experts are predicting is nationally that there's going to be a slight increase in the number of homes coming into the market. We're seeing that in a lot of other parts of the country. I'm going to make the call here locally that we're going to go through the end of this month into August. Inventory is going to stay flat, maybe increase a little bit, and then start to decline. That's
Okay.
my call.
Okay. Bottom line?
Bottom line is that, mortgage rates are going to stay flat or go up slightly. No big spikes in the future. Inventory is going to go up slightly, but not enough to really create a buyer's market, unless, some places around the country, but we're not seeing it here. And for the most part, everybody's pretty optimistic about the real estate market.
Totally.